Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into, well, a truly fascinating topic. These unseen patterns that shape our lives. We're going to explore how fears, behaviors, even physical symptoms can sort of echo through generations, influencing us in ways we might not even consciously realize. Our source material for this deep dive comes from some really cutting-edge research in epigenetics and depth psychology, including the groundbreaking work of Mark Woolen, author of It Didn't Start With You. So let's kick things off with maybe a wild question. Do birds remember faces across generations? Sounds like something out of a myth, right?
Yeah.
But a researcher, John Mars, actually decided to test this with crows. When he first caught and tagged some birds, he was wearing this very distinct caveman mask. The crows, understandably, agitated by being caught, reacted really strongly to this masked man.
Oh, they absolutely did. Mars observed that the crows immediately began scolding him with these harsh calls. That's their way of signaling a predator, basically. They gathered, attracted other crows, and even started diving down at him. What's so compelling here is Mars realizing they were somehow communicating to each other that the person in that mask was dangerous.
And here's the part that really stands out. Even though the team never again caught crows while Mars wore that mask, that strong, aggressive reaction was passed down. 11 years later, nearly half of all the crows on that campus still reacted intensely to that caveman face.
Wow.
And get this, many of those crows weren't even born at the time of the initial capture.
Right.
Their only experience with that masked man was essentially through the learned fear of their flock, like hearsay.
That's a powerful illustration, isn't it?
It really is.
When we think about how that might apply to humans, it immediately makes you think of Piaget's concept of fixed ideas, these memories that are just impervious to time. He described them like blood clots lodged in the flow of time, things the years can neither expel nor dissolve.
Blood clots in time.
Yeah, it really sets the stage for how deep, unremembered experiences can stick with us even across generations, becoming part of our inherited blueprint.
And the science confirming this for humans is truly mind-bending. We're talking about epigenetics. This isn't about changing your actual DNA sequence, your genes themselves, but rather about heritable changes in gene function, how they work.
Exactly, how they're expressed.
Imagine a traumatic event causes a chemical tag to attach to your DNA, telling your cells to use or ignore certain genes.
Right.
It's like a survival mechanism the body deploys, but then passes on.
Exactly. And we have compelling scientific evidence from mouse studies on this. For instance, male mice subjected to prolonged stress showed, depression-like symptoms.
Yeah.
Their pups and even their grandpups exhibited the same symptoms.
Even the grandpups.
Yeah, despite never experiencing the original trauma themselves. Researchers found these changes were linked to things like microRNA. Think of it as a subtle genetic switch, like you said, a chemical tag, telling the genes what to do being passed down.
But here's the hopeful part, right?
Yes. What's crucial to grasp is that these effects could be reversed in mice when they lived in positive, low-stress environments. And this reversal was accompanied by changes in how those chemical tags were expressed, preventing further transmission.
So it's not just a theory. We have really concrete evidence. You mentioned another study, too, the one with the cherry blossom scent. That also highlights this.
Yes, another striking study. It involved mice trained to fear a cherry blossom scent via electric shock.
Okay.
Their offspring and even grand offspring became jumpy and avoided that scent. They inherited both the sensitivity and the fear response.
Without ever getting shocked themselves.
Without direct experience. This involved changes in the sperm DNA methylation again, those chemical tags affecting gene expression. The core insight here is that the challenges experienced by one generation can literally become a deeply embedded legacy for the next, offering a form of environmental resilience, maybe, but also often a significant burden.
So how does this incredible science apply directly to us? To humans. This is where Mark Woolen's groundbreaking work, especially in his book, It Didn't Start With You, really illuminates our own experience. He posits that trauma is a literal chemical change in our DNA.
Yeah.
Consider this powerful example. If your grandparents came from a war-torn country, bombs going off, uniformed men rounding people up,
Right.
They develop sharper reflexes, quicker reaction times. They pass that skill set forward.
Exactly. A survival advantage then. The challenge arises when their grandchildren, who weren't born into that environment, inherit this same stress response, maybe with the dials set to 10.
Right, dialed way up.
They might have an outsized reaction to seeing a man in uniform, or jump when a car backfires, and they simply don't understand why. The core symptom is often anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, or a feeling of shutdown, leaving them wondering, what's wrong with me?
And the simple answer is,
It didn't start with you.
and much of this inherited trauma operates from what we don't remember,
Absolutely.
especially events before our cognitive memory fully develops, which is typically around age 2 or 3.
But our body, our amygdala, our somatic memory, it retains it all.
It holds on to it.
And it gets even more intimate, really. There's the concept of a shared biological environment. Think about this. When your grandmother was 5 months pregnant with your mother,
Yeah.
all of your mother's eggs, and one of those was literally you were already developing inside your grandmother's womb.
Whoa. Okay.
This means 3 generations shared the same womb space.
So my grandmother's experience.
Potentially your grandmother's traumas could be imprinted on you before you were even conceived, technically.
Mind blown.
And on the other side, a father's sperm can also be affected by traumas he experiences right up until transmission. So, we receive this information from both sides, often without ever realizing it.
This really expands our view of trauma, doesn't it? Beyond just personal emotional stuff.
Definitely.
It also sheds light on something like addiction. Woolen connects addiction directly to early life, infancy,
Yes.
specifically a lack of attunement or misattunement.
That's right. Misattunement between a child and parents. Or maybe the mother's own lack of attunement from her mother. When we talk about misattunement, we mean when a child's emotional needs aren't consistently recognized or mirrored by their caregivers.
Like the connection isn't quite there.
Exactly. It's like a vital emotional connection is missing early on, and that early break can literally lead to missing dopamine in the brain's reward circuitry.
Missing dopamine.
Yeah. Attunement, it turns out, needs to begin from conception forward. If a mother experiences significant stress or discord during pregnancy, her body floods with cortisol, which also floods the fetus's body, creating an early break in that relationship and trust.
And this really resonates with some personal stories you hear, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Like a parent being emotionally locked up or ice cold in utero because of their own unresolved traumas. Can create a child's feelings of aloneness, insecurity, even if the outward family life looked totally functional.
And this can then pave the way for later self-soothing behaviors like addiction, because that deep craving for security, for connection, was never really met.
So with all this information, how do we begin to, uncover these hidden influences?
Well, Wallen introduces this brilliant concept of trauma language.
Trauma language.
Yeah, emotionally charged words and sentences that serve as a kind of breadcrumb trail leading us to the source.
That's so clever because when the traumatic event happens, significant information can bypass our frontal lobes, right?
Exactly.
Meaning it can't be processed in a linear narrative way.
Right. So the experience gets stored as fragments. Bits of body sensations, images, emotions, and those very words. It's like our mind disperses and essential elements get separated almost.
But they're not lost.
No, not lost, just rerouted, ready to be discovered. If you ask yourself, what's your worst fear? And the answer is something like, I'll be alone, abandoned, rejected, annihilated, I won't exist.
Okay.
That's what Wolin calls attachment language. It's often linked to a break with the mother, either in your life or in previous generations.
Okay. Makes sense.
But then there's generational trauma language. This sounds more like, I'll harm somebody, or it'll all be my fault, I'll go crazy, be locked up, I'll die.
You can feel the weight in those.
You really can. They often come from specific traumatic events in the family history.
And it's not just verbal, right? It shows up in other ways, too.
Absolutely. Nonverbal trauma language shows up in physical or emotional symptoms, repeated relationship patterns.
Like choosing partners who resemble a difficult parent.
Exactly. Or chronic money issues, or even self-sabotage when it comes to success.
So the key insight here is to become a kind of detective in your own life.
Precisely. First, identify your trauma language, verbal or nonverbal. Second, try to link it to your early life or family history. And third, engage in healing practices to actually break the pattern.
Okay, let's delve into some of those profound ways family dynamics shape us. Starting with the early mother-child bond. If there's an interruption in that bond, physical separation, emotional distance, maybe inconsistent presence, it can deeply affect us.
Hugely. We see this influence on anxiety and intimate relationships, difficulty forming or maintaining them, or even feeling ill-equipped to raise children ourselves.
There's that story of Suzanne.
Yes, Suzanne's story. At 9 months old, she spent 2 weeks alone in the hospital with pneumonia. As an adult, she would literally cringe at physical closeness, protecting herself from perceived hurt and abandonment.
That early interruption just became this deeply ingrained blueprint for her.
Exactly. And it's important to remember this bond can also be profoundly affected by the mother's own unresolved wounds from her mother.
Right, the chain continues.
She often can't give what she didn't receive herself.
It's a powerful cycle. A child might perceive a mother as unavailable and kind of take it personally, leading to cutting off that connection themselves, which feels like a false freedom initially.
But it actually limits life experience later on.
Yeah.
And an interesting dynamic often plays out, particularly with sons. When a mother is unhappy with her husband, she might forge a closer relationship with her son, effectively making him more important than the father.
Okay, I can see how that could happen.
It might ease her pain, maybe, but for the son, it's a really complicated web. He gives to her, easing her pain, but he cannot truly receive from her.
So he's always giving, not receiving.
Right. And this dynamic then sets up patterns of overextension, people-pleasing, difficulty saying no, especially to women.
And that can have deep consequences, right? Even sexually.
It can. It might shut down healthy sexual intimacy or lead to what's described as a sexual trance.
Sexual trance.
Yeah, which essentially means an unfulfilled, unconscious longing for that early closeness with the mother manifesting inappropriately in intimate relationships.
Wow.
And crucially, this dynamic can also mean the son effectively loses his father.
How so?
Well, he might carry his mother's negative feelings about his father, and the father may even reject the son in return. The son's path to the father gets blocked.
That's heavy.
And it's especially relevant maybe in a modern context where many men grew up with more female influence, mothers, teachers, nannies, making deep connections to healthy masculine energy challenging sometimes.
Okay, so beyond these individual relationships, there's Bert Hellinger's concept of family consciousness.
Yes. He argues that traumatic events like premature death, abandonment, crime, suicide create these imprints or a kind of family blueprint that can influence the entire family system for generations.
And this leads to what he calls entanglement.
Exactly. Entanglement, where you unconsciously carry the feelings, symptoms, behaviors, or hardships of an earlier family member as if they were your own.
Carrying someone else's stuff.
Yeah. It's not always an exact replica, but the repetition of a trauma can manifest in subtle or really dramatic ways across generations.
Okay, so Hellinger identifies 4 unconscious themes of this merging, right?
That's right. The first is I will follow you. This is where an individual might unconsciously engage in high-risk behaviors or self-sabotage, like addiction, particularly if a parent or ancestor died young, like they're following them into death.
Oof. Okay. What's next?
Then there's I will share it with you.
Okay.
Here, you might find yourself repeating patterns of poor relationships, business failures, or health issues that mirrored an ancestor's struggles. It's like an unconscious loyalty to their hardship.
You're sharing their fate, almost.
In a way, yes. The third is, I'll do it in your place.
That sounds intense.
It is. It means someone might unconsciously feel what a parent couldn't feel or couldn't process, or even, tragically, take their own life to somehow atone for an ancestor's actions.
Oh my goodness.
And finally, I'll atone for you. This can lead to seemingly inexplicable behaviors like ending up in jail or getting really sick, as if you're trying to balance an ancestor's wrongdoing on some kind of cosmic scale.
These themes really come alive when you hear the examples from the sources, don't they?
They really do.
There's John, who served prison time for embezzlement, seemingly atoning for his father, who was acquitted of murder at the exact same age. It's like...
Justice was served, but the wrong person paid the price.
Exactly. Then you have Kevin. His own alcoholism and fear of breakdown mirrored his father's life, lost job, health, home, died early.
Right. And the deeper root was his father being blamed for his younger brother's death.
Ah, so the guilt passed down.
Yes. And Paul, whose unkempt appearance and constant fear of not being good enough were linked way back to his grandfather, the town loser, who'd been sent to an orphanage at age 4.
It's striking how these historical events create this family echo chamber.
It really is. And what's also counterintuitive, but so often true, is this. The more we actively reject a parent, the more likely we are, unconsciously, to live lives similar to theirs.
So pushing them away actually keeps you tied to them.
In a strange, often painful way, yes. It's an unconscious way of keeping them close, or resolving something unresolved.
And these unresolved family traumas don't just affect our personal relationships. They can create real roadblocks to achieving success or cause self-sabotage.
Absolutely. Consider Loretta. She struggled for years to start her own business. Her core language, the word she kept using was, "I don't deserve to have what I get."
I don't deserve it.
This stemmed from an unconscious need to balance an undeserved gain in the family. Her father had inherited the profitable family farm, while his siblings got basically nothing. She was subconsciously trying to balance those scales by not succeeding herself.
Wow. Okay. Or Ben, the lawyer.
Yes, Ben the lawyer. His pattern was just surviving, barely having enough in his successful law practice. This was a subconscious atonement for his grandfather's wealth, which was built, apparently, on the sweat and toil of migrant workers who were paid next to nothing.
So he felt guilty for having money.
He was unconsciously aligned with the workers' misery, unable to fully embrace his own abundance.
And Richard, the engineer.
Richard, yeah, brilliant aeronautical engineer who never received credit for his work. His core language was, "I never get recognized."
Never recognized.
This was linked to his older brother, who was stillborn and never really seen or acknowledged, recognized by the family. His struggle at work was, in a sense, a subconscious plea for that recognition for his brother.
These stories just show how this unfinished business and these unconscious loyalties can manifest as procrastination or just an inability to achieve our full potential, even when we're capable.
Exactly, even when we're brilliant or hardworking.
So if we acknowledge these deep-seated patterns, what's the path forward? How do we heal and transform?
Well, it often means leaning into discomfort, moving beyond what's often called spiritual bypassing.
Which is basically just avoiding pain,
Right.
using spiritual ideas to sidestep difficult feelings.
Precisely. The crucial step, Wallen emphasizes, is to stay embodied, to be with what's uncomfortable or even what feels intolerable in the body.
That's a huge challenge, isn't it? Especially maybe for men who are often conditioned to push away discomfort or avoid emotional expression.
It is a challenge, but by doing so, by allowing yourself to feel it fully without trying to fix it immediately, you can move through the discomfort to what he calls life-giving sensations like pulsing, tingling, warmth, a sense of peace or stillness.
Oh, okay.
This practice can literally change your brain and calm your stress response over time.
You see this mirrored clearly on addiction recovery, too.
Absolutely. When the substance or the process is removed, the underlying pain naturally rises to the surface.
Yeah.
Instead of running, you're often in an environment like therapy or group support that helps you face it, which creates an opportunity to finally deflate that pain balloon by moving through it, feeling it. Ultimately, this reduces the impetus to use again.
That makes so much sense.
And it's powerful to realize that healing involves creating new, positive experiences that literally change our brain.
New experiences rewire things.
They do. These experiences build new neural pathways, stimulate feel-good neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and hormones like oxytocin and estrogen. And critically, they can even change how our DNA expresses itself, essentially rewriting those old chemical tags we talked about.
So it's about simple daily practices.
Often, yes. Receiving comfort and support from others, practicing compassion for yourself and others, gratitude, generosity, loving kindness, mindfulness, anything that fosters strength, peace, and joy. These practices feed the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of the brain, and help downregulate an overactive limbic system, the emotional center. It can actually shrink the amygdala, the brain's trauma alerter.
Less reactive, more responsive.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that visualization, prayer, meditation, these are equally powerful tools.
Really? How so?
Because the brain activates the same regions during vivid visualization as it does in real-time experience. So the healing, the rewiring, can be just as effective. Your mind can literally create new biological pathways for healing.
Okay, so once you've started to maybe identify some patterns, what are some practical tools you can use from Wallen's work?
Well, one is investigating your core complaint.
Your core complaint.
Yeah. This involves writing freely about what's really pressing in your life right now, just getting it all out. Then reading it back with what he calls a meta-ear, listening for peculiar, urgent, emotionally charged trauma language that might actually belong to someone else in your family system.
Looking for those echoes.
Exactly. Once an unconscious link is made, you can then create healing sentences.
Like affirmations.
Sort of, but more specific to the entanglement. For example, I will live my life fully instead of reliving what happened to you, addressing the ancestor directly.
Oh.
And then forming healing images, visualizing ancestors at peace maybe, or offering you support. This establishes a new internal reference point. It literally creates a new inner reality to draw strength from.
And it's not just inner work, right? There are actions too.
Yes, real-time actions are important. calling a parent to express love or appreciation, if that's possible and safe, engaging in acts of gratitude or generosity in your daily life. These actions, even small ones, reinforce the shift you're making internally.
Grounding the change in the real world.
Precisely.
One of the most profound aspects of this work seems to be the transformative power of connection, especially doing it with others.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Wallin stresses doing this work with others, not alone, because you often need a mirror to see what's hitting from your own perspective.
We all have blind spots.
We do. And the value of groups, like men's groups, for instance, is immense here. Men can explore their relationship with their father, challenge that hyperreactivity we talked about, and find healing by providing each other with the kind of healthy masculine support they longed for, but maybe never received.
I've seen how powerful that can be.
And this collective healing is truly inspiring. We heard that incredibly moving story from a listener.
About his reconciliation with his brother.
Yes, after 15 years of silence, it was triggered by their grandfather's death, and the discovery of how ancestral patterns, what they felt was a curse on the family, rooted in the grandfather's own trauma of an alcoholic, violent father, could actually be lifted.
How do they do it?
Through shared experience, talking about it, and conscious action together, they created a new legacy for their own branch of the family tree right there.
That's such a powerful testament to the ripple effect of healing, isn't it?
It truly is.
It really brings us to what we might call the generational imperative, our work to do now. Our generation is perhaps the first to truly have the widespread opportunity, the awareness, the tools to engage in this kind of deep emotional healing work.
That wasn't available or even conceived of by previous generations in the same way.
So we have a responsibility, maybe.
I think so. A responsibility to shake the family tree, learn our family histories, the good and the bad. We can't keep painful things sealed up because, as the saying goes, silence does not stay silent.
It finds a way out.
It does. What is hidden will otherwise continue to repeat itself, consciously or unconsciously, in future generations.
What's incredibly clear from all of this is how deeply intertwined our individual experiences are with just the whole tapestry of our family history.
Absolutely. It suggests that understanding these inherited patterns isn't just about personal healing, though that's huge. It's also about breaking cycles that have impacted generations.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit.
Yeah.
It means that the fears, the anxieties, even those self-sabotaging behaviors that we often just assume are who we are, might actually be echoes of the past, just waiting for us to shine a light on them.
Exactly. And this raises such an important question. If the pain can be passed down,
Yeah.
then so too can the healing. The very act of becoming aware, of bringing these hidden dynamics into consciousness, begins to shift the energetic landscape, not just for ourselves, but for future generations too.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means you have more agency than you might think. You can become the detective of your own story, uncovering the clues that explain so much about your life.
It might not have started with you.
But it absolutely can end with you. What stands out to you about how your family's past might be influencing your present? What story are you ready to rewrite? 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 Are you